Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Erlin Jannah. I'm from English Education Class 2A. I will discuss about 1. Noun phrase, 2. Adjective phrase, 3. Verb phrase and adverb phrase, 4. Infinitive phrase, 5. Gerund phrase. Definition: a noun phrase. A noun phrase is a group of two or more words headed by a noun that includes modifiers the, a, of them, and with her. Function: a noun phrase. A noun phrase can be 1. As a subject, 2. As a direct object, 3. As an indirect object, 4. As an indirect object, 5. As a complement, 6. As an object of the preposition. Example: a noun phrase. A noun phrase plays the role of a noun. In a noun phrase, the modifiers can come before or after the noun. Component of a noun phrase. 1. A noun. A noun phrase must have a noun on which other modifiers are connected. 2. An article modifier. An article must be part of a noun phrase since it is usually connected to a noun. 3. An adjective modifier. An adjective refers to a word that describes a noun or pronoun. 4. Prepositional phrase modifiers. It refers to words that begin with a preposition but has an object at the end. 5. Determiner. A determiner clarifies or describes a noun. Examples include those, this, that, and this. Definition of adjective phrase. An adjective phrase is a group of words headed by an adjective that describes a noun or pronoun. In an adjective phrase, the head adjective can be at the start, the middle, or the end of the phrase. Adjective phrase types. 1. Attributive adjective phrase is an adjective phrase that is used to describe a noun, its possession before the noun being described to form a noun phrase. 2. Predicative adjective. Contrary to attributive, predicative adjective is an adjective phrase which functions as a predicative. Its position is after the linked verb and doesn't function to describe the noun. 3. Prepositional phrase as adjective phrase. Adjective phrase often come from a prepositional phrase. As you know, prepositions are words to describe the relationship of nouns or pronouns with other words in a sentence. In other words, prepositional and adjective phrase. Adjective phrase function. The function of adjective phrase have two primary functions. First, they can be used to modify noun inside noun phrase. Second, main function of adjective phrase is an predicatives in clause structure following verbs like be, become, seem, etc. Definition of verb phrase. Verb phrase is a syntactic unit composed of at least one verb and its dispense objects, complements, and other modifiers, but not always including the subject. A verb phrase is a syntactic unit consisting of an auxiliary verb preceding the main verb. It often contains a head verb, complements, objects, and modifier as its dependents. Verb phrases generally are divided among two types, finite, of which the head of the phrase is a finite verb, and non-finite, where the head is a non-finite verb such as an infinitive participle or gerund. Verb phrase types. There are two types of verb phrase. 1. Finite verb phrase. If a sentence has just one verb phrase, it is a finite verb phrase. 2. Non-finite verb phrase. In this type of verb phrase, the head verb is participle, gerund, or infinitive. Example of verb phrase. Example of verb phrase in literature. A Tale of Two Cities. Example by Charles Dickens. It was appointed that the water should be locked in an eternal frost. When the light was playing on its surface, and I stood in ignorance on the shore. My friend is dead. My neighbor is dead. My love, the darling of my soul, is dead. Adverb phrase. An adverb phrase is simply a group of two or more words that function as an adverb in a sentence, just as an adverb can modify a verb, adjective, or another adverb. An adverb phrase of more than one word can further describe a verb, adverb, or adjective. Adverb phrase typically answer the question how, where, why, or when something was done, as you all see in the adverb phrase example below. I parked the car. I parked the car here. Example of adverb phrase. Adverb phrase show how, where, why, when. A simple adverb phrase usually contains an adverb and at least one other word before or after it. Verb and prepositional phrase or infinitive phrase can also act as an adverbial. Adverb phrase in a sentence. Adverb phrase can be used in any position in definition of infinitive phrase. An infinitive phrase is the infinitive form of a verb plus any complements and modifiers. An infinitive phrase is a group of words that use an infinitive to plus verb. An infinitive is a verbal a word that expresses action. So an infinitive phrase has the same role of expressing action in a sentence. An infinitive phrase is just a part of a sentence working like a noun, adjective, or adverb. The function of infinitive phrase. An infinitive phrase can play the role of a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. Noun subject. Example 1. To travel without enough money is a bad idea. Adjective 1. The best time to call him is at night. Adverb 1. To get the access, you must register first. Why should I care about infinitive phrase? Native English speakers can use infinitive phrase without too many snacks. For those learning of teaching English talk, life is a little trickier because deliberate consideration must be given to have infinitive phrase function as noun, adjectives, or adverbs before they can be used or taught. The other issues for language learners or teachers is understanding when to drop to of an infinitive verb. Examples: when to use a bare infinitive. This is covered in more detail on the infinitive verbs page. Gerunds. Examples of gerunds. As you read these examples of gerunds, notice the verbs they contain and notice that every single one of them ends in ing. By the end of this quick listen, you will have no problem recognizing gerunds when you see them. Example: swimming in the ocean has been Sharon's passion since she was 5 years old. 2. Let's go dancing at the club tonight. Types of gerunds. Subject. A gerund or gerund phrase can be the subject of a sentence, usually found at the beginning of the sentence. 2. Predicate nominative. Most of it was cheering. A predicate nominative completes the meaning of a linked verb. 3. Direct object. Mary hates beating her fingernails. 2. We call her thundering. Receives the action of the verb. 4. Object of preposition. When the cars enter the track, we turn our attention toward racing. Make sure it is a prepositional phrase by finding the preposition. Find the gerund phrase and determine the type. 1. Hours of editing the newspaper and that day. 2. Hanging picture on the wall was more difficult than she had anticipated. 3. Try to slip away without telling your friends about it. 4. Each afternoon Tom enjoys swimming a few laps. 5. Winning at poker makes Matt feel important. 6. I'm demoting the officer for disobeying orders. 7. Without studying for the test, you are taking a big risk. 8. AB is enjoying listening to Rolling Stones music. This is from me. If I have many mistakes, please apologize. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.